Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to have you here today. In this presentation, we'll explore 5 signs she just slept with someone else and delve into female psychology. We'll discuss how to recognize these signs and what they might mean. So let's get started and uncover some insights together. Have you ever experienced that uncomfortable knot in your stomach after an argument or a night out that felt a bit off? Well, I want you to know, you're not being paranoid. That feeling is actually your subconscious picking up on subtle truths that many men tend to overlook. It's important to recognize that these sensations are often signals that something isn't quite right, even if there's no obvious evidence. Throughout this presentation, we'll explore how tuning into these subtle cues can help you better understand situations and relationships. Remember, trusting those instincts can be a powerful tool for making informed decisions and maintaining your awareness. The most painful part of betrayal isn't actually the act itself. What really hurts more is the ongoing intimacy that we continue to share, often without even realizing it. We might think we're still close or trusting someone completely, but in reality, that intimacy has already been shared with someone else, someone who shouldn't have that access. This disconnect between what we believe and what's actually happening can make the betrayal feel even deeper and more confusing. It's a reminder that betrayal isn't just about a single moment or action. It's about the subtle, continuous ways we open ourselves up, sometimes unknowingly, to those who may not deserve that trust. Recognizing this helps us understand why healing can sometimes be so complex, because we're not just dealing with the act. It's the intimacy that's been compromised, often beneath the surface. This ties into the overall theme of trust and vulnerability, and how we need to be mindful of where and with whom we share ourselves. As a relationship and behavioral psychology expert, I want to share with you 5 subtle signs that women may reveal after they've been physically involved with someone else. Now, these cues are not about paranoia or jumping to conclusions. They're really about gaining clarity and understanding what's actually happening beneath the surface. By recognizing these signs, you can regain your dignity and confidence instead of second-guessing or overanalyzing every little thing. It's about making decisions from a place of strength, not denial or uncertainty. So, as we go through these cues, keep in mind that they're subtle, but when you understand them, they can help you see the bigger picture clearly. This is all about empowering you to better interpret behavior and make more informed choices in your relationships. The body never lies. When a woman has shifted her intimacy elsewhere, her body will communicate it long before her words do. If you've been with her for a while, you probably notice her natural rhythm, the warmth of her hand, the way she leans into your kiss, or the softness in her touch. These are subtle but powerful signals of connection. Now, when those gestures suddenly turn cold, say she stiffens at your touch, turns her face away from your kiss, or claims she's tired without actually seeming drained, it's not just stress. This is a sign of the absence of desire. From a psychological perspective, desire and intimacy are driven by neurochemicals in the brain. When her attention and feelings are stimulated elsewhere, her body stops reacting to you with warmth. It's like trying to rekindle a fire on burned wood. No matter how much you blow on it, it simply won't ignite. So, what should you do in these moments? Don't chase after her or beg for attention. Instead, pull back and observe silently. If she still desires you, she will naturally close the gap. If she doesn't, silence is your best response. Sometimes, that quiet space tells you everything you need to know. Let's talk about the second ritual, the cleansing ritual. Sometimes, a sudden obsession with cleanliness, like taking long showers, using heavy perfumes, or changing clothes in unusual ways, is not just about hygiene. It can actually be what I call the erasing ritual. A woman's body naturally carries evidence, smells on her skin, scents in her hair, traces on her clothes. When she begins scrubbing vigorously, spraying fragrances, or hiding laundry with secrecy, it's often a sign of something more than just caring for herself. Psychologically, this behavior can be linked to guilt. People who feel guilty may try to erase physical evidence as a way to cleanse their conscience. Overcompensation in hygiene becomes a way to hide what they don't want others to find. What should you do in these situations? First, don't jump to accusations. Instead, take note of the pattern, when it happens and under what circumstances. If you notice this ritual following unexplained absences or heated arguments, it's not just about hygiene. It's about erasure, an attempt to wipe away something they don't want others to see or remember. Now, let's talk about the blame game. One common defense mechanism here is projection. Essentially, instead of taking responsibility, she might suddenly make you the problem. Maybe you talk too much, or you don't listen enough, or perhaps you fold the towels the wrong way. Suddenly, she becomes unjustifiably irritated and starts finding faults that never really mattered before. The psychological explanation behind this is that when guilt becomes overwhelming or unbearable, people often project that guilt onto someone else. It's a way of temporarily relieving themselves of shame by turning the focus onto you, making you the villain in the story. So, what should you do in these moments? The key is to avoid getting defensive or arguing. Instead, calmly say, "You don't need to make me the problem." Then, step back and remain silent. Silence can be more powerful than trying to defend yourself because when you refuse to play along with her script, it tends to collapse. Remember, by not engaging in the blame game, you're shifting the dynamic and reducing her power to manipulate the situation. This approach connects to the overall theme of maintaining emotional control and not allowing her tactics to undermine your confidence. Let's talk about how the body doesn't lie. Words can be rehearsed, stories can be memorized, but the truth often reveals itself through involuntary physical cues. Micro-expressions, breathing patterns, small gestures, these are things we can't fully control, even if we try. For example, you might notice someone becoming tense unexpectedly during an intimate moment, or perhaps acting overly affectionate in a way that seems exaggerated or unnatural. Those inconsistencies are actually their nervous system betraying them. The key psychological idea here is that the body leaks truth through these involuntary responses, changes in tone, breath, posture, or touch. These tiny signals, or microsignals, are subconscious and serve as a kind of imprint from past experiences or underlying feelings. So, what should you do with this information? Trust your instincts. Your body often registers the truth before your conscious mind can rationalize or dismiss it. When you notice these signals, try scaling back your giving and observe whether this behavior is just a temporary reaction or a persistent pattern. Remember, these subtle cues are powerful indicators. Listening to them can give you invaluable insight into what's really going on beneath the surface. Let's talk about late returns and empty excuses. Time always reveals the truth. If a woman truly chooses you, she'll make time for you, plain and simple. But if she's chosen someone else, she might start inventing reasons to be away, work, traffic, dead phone batteries. At first, those excuses can sound plausible, and we might accept them. But over time, if lateness becomes a pattern, it's a signal. Every time we accept a weak excuse, we're teaching her that our boundaries are negotiable. That's a dangerous game to play. From a psychological perspective, patterns of absence often point to shifting priorities. It's not just about physical cheating, it's an emotional reallocation of her time and energy. So, what should we do? Instead of interrogating or getting angry, just state the facts calmly. "You were late again. That tells me where I stand." Then, let the silence do its work. Silence is powerful. It forces her to confront her actions and accept responsibility. Remember, consistent lateness isn't just about being late. It's about what her actions reveal about her priorities and respect for you. So, in this final slide, I want to emphasize that the 5 signs we've discussed, cold body language, cleansing rituals, blame projection, microleaks of truth, and consistent lateness, are often overlooked or dismissed until it's too late, and men find themselves blindsided by betrayal. It's crucial to recognize that this isn't about becoming paranoid or overly suspicious. Instead, it's about gaining clarity. When you observe these signs without denial, you start seeing the reality more clearly. Testing patterns rather than making excuses helps you understand what's really going on. This process isn't about mistrust. It's about protecting your dignity and preventing yourself from investing emotionally in relationships that have already ended in spirit, even if they appear to be intact on the surface. Clarity in this context is freeing. Yes, the truth might sting at first, but ultimately it empowers you. It allows you to stop begging for warmth where it no longer exists. It encourages you not to be your own accomplice in denial. Recognize these signs, make your decision, and reclaim your strength. This is about taking control, understanding the reality, and moving forward with confidence.